You're making coffee when you realize you've been waiting for this moment for 10 years. You didn't know you were waiting. That was the point. Phase 1. The life you built. You've been here for 10 years. You have a daughter. She's 8. She made you a birthday card with crayons last week. You have it on the fridge. You have a mortgage, a neighbor who waves to you every morning, a job that bores you in exactly the right way. You drive the same route. You order the same coffee. You know the name of the barista's dog. This is not an accident. This is the result of 4 years of preparation, 17 months of language immersion, and one decision made in a building you are not allowed to name, in a city most people have never heard of. The decision was to become someone who could not be found by someone looking for you. You succeeded. That is the problem. Phase 2. The signal. It came in a newspaper, not a phone call, not an email. Those leave traces. A print newspaper, 3rd page, bottom left. A classified ad for a cleaning service, specific phrase, specific font, specific column width that means nothing to anyone who wasn't trained to read it. Your handlers called this a signal site. You learned about signal sites in a building in 2014. You haven't thought about that building in 3 years. The moment you read those words, everything comes back, in about 4 seconds. That is what 12 years of psychological conditioning does. It doesn't leave, it waits. Here is what most people misunderstand about sleeper agents. The training is not about combat. It is not about weapons or surveillance or escape routes. It is about identity replacement. According to declassified FSB doctrine, a truly embedded asset must not merely act as a civilian, they must become one. The doubt is intentional. The longer you believe your own cover, the more undetectable you are, even to yourself, especially to yourself. You fold the newspaper, you keep walking, you don't look around. That instinct, the one trained into you before you set foot here, is the most expensive thing anyone ever paid to put inside a person. Rule 1. The cover that survives the longest is the one you stop performing. Phase 3. The protocol. There are rules you memorized before you arrived. Rule 1. Never go directly to a dead drop. Circle first. Minimum 3 passes. Rule 2. From the moment of activation, assume you are being watched. Rule 3. Do not contact anyone from your former life. You haven't spoken to your handler in 4 years. That was the last contact, a locker at a train station, a USB drive wrapped in black tape. You retrieved it, you memorized the contents, you destroyed it. There are no records, not here and not there. This is not a comforting thought. This is a structural feature of what you are. Here is what 4 years of silence means. Something changed. Missions get paused. Handlers get reassigned. Sometimes assets get left, written off as a long-term investment that no longer pencils out. You had started to believe you were one of those. This morning ended that. Phase 4. The mission. The dead drop is in a park 7 minutes from your house, a magnetic key holder under a specific bench. You have known that bench since the week you arrived. You walked past it roughly 8,000 times. Tonight, you stop. Inside, 2 photographs, a name, a date, a location, 48 hours from now. The name belongs to someone within a government, not a foreign one. You have done intelligence gathering, infrastructure mapping, personnel movement, quiet work, the kind that required you to believe the information went somewhere useful and stayed there. This is not that. This is the kind of operation that agencies deny existed, the kind that never appears in official records, the kind where if it goes wrong, the asset is described in reports as a lone foreign national with unclear motivations. There is no extraction plan. There is no emergency contact. There is no cavalry. There is a name on a photograph and 48 hours. Rule 2. The mission that has no record also has no witness. That includes you. Phase 5. The fracture. Here is what your handlers did not account for. You have a daughter. They knew. They always knew. A parent doesn't run. A parent stays stationary, stays embedded, stays unremarkable. A parent is the most reliable kind of person there is. They used that. But whatever was built in 2014, whatever was conditioned and implanted and rehearsed, it has been replaced, slowly, without authorization, without anyone approving it. There's a term for this in intelligence psychology, identity fracture. It's documented, it's predictable. It's exactly why most sleeper operations carry a maximum operational window of 5 to 7 years. 10 years is too long. Your handlers knew the risk. They activated you anyway, because the asset that nobody suspects is worth more than the asset who moves quickly. You are the longest bet they ever placed. Now they are collecting. The question is not whether you'll complete the mission. The question is which version of you decides. Rule 3. Given enough time, the cover stops being the cover. And then what is it? Phase 6. The choice. You have 3 options. You complete the mission. You return to your life. Your daughter never knows. The government that built you gets what it paid for, and you go back to being the person it needed you to become. Perhaps there is another newspaper in another year. Perhaps there is not. You refuse. You go home. Within 72 hours, people who are very good at locating things will begin looking for a reason. Those people do not negotiate. They do not leave loose ends. They especially do not leave the families of loose ends. Or, and this is the option that was never supposed to occur to you, you warned the target. In intelligence history, the assets who turned, who chose the life they built over the mission they were assigned, are not celebrated. Most of them are not remembered at all. But they made a choice, a real one, the kind you make when you are a person, not an instrument. The question is which one you are. The payoff. Rudolph Abel spent 9 years embedded in New York City. Arrested in 1957, he never broke under interrogation, not once. He was exchanged at a bridge in Berlin for a U-2 pilot. He returned to a country that considered him a success. He died there 14 years later with no public record of what it cost him. Aldrich Ames worked for the CIA for 31 years, spied for the Soviets for 9 of them. When asked why, he said the answer was complicated. The answer is always complicated when someone has spent enough time becoming someone else. The cases that are never discussed, the ones still classified, are the ones that ended not with capture, not with exchange, but with refusal. Assets who, when finally activated after years of silence, did the one thing their handlers could not predict. They chose the person they had accidentally become. Those cases are sealed. The agencies prefer it that way, because those cases prove something no intelligence service wants documented. Given enough time, the cover wins. Your daughter gets out of school at 3 p.m. You don't look at the bench. Not yet.